Yo, what is up, guys? So today, another trade recap. As you guys can already see, we got we were so close to TP, but as you guys can see, it went back down to yeah, it just went back down. It almost hit my TP. I think it was at 1 point. It was off by 1 point. I'm pretty sure, which is pretty annoying, but it is what it is. So basically, today I want to talk about two things: why I got into this trade and what I learned about this trade. Today we're actually doing the trade recap on the same day, so that's an improvement, I would say. But let's just get into today's trade. So pre-market, we had this massive rally up. I'm not sure if you guys had traded today, but this rally was due to because Trump tweeted that they stopped bombing Iran. I'm pretty sure, and then they give it like a 5 day grace period or something like that. That's why this massive spike up happened. With that spike, I was more leaning towards bearishness than bullishness. Why? Is because this spike really just made a massive move up, right? It swept like all this liquidity and it sort of balanced out these imbalances as well, right? On the 1 hour, 4 hour. Well, I think like even on the daily as well, it balanced out a lot of bearish imbalances, right? So with that in mind, I had all the reason to short, but why I still chose to go long is because the market showed me, yeah, because the market showed me. But let's just get into why I went long now. So pre coming into the day, I was leaning more bearish than bullish. But the reason why I still long is because when New York opened, we swept this low and started moving higher. I saw this, like I had two possibilities with this. I could have said like, this could have like been a liquidity sweep for this gap to get filled and then move lower, but that didn't happen. We inversed this gap and we started just slowly moving higher, right? So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want to see this high get swept. At least I want to see this high get taken, right? It doesn't really matter to me how it gets taken. If it's either a liquidity sweep or a good uh, break of structure above it, which it was in this case, a good break of structure. And I had a couple points where I want to see price possibly go back down because I was still bearish in I was still bearish, but why I still went long is because I didn't think price would get enough sellers to go back lower with this liquidity sweep. We needed to sweep some sort of higher liquidity to get the sellers back down, right? So, and price wasn't really showing that seller pressure because it kept moving up, right? And it kept disrespecting every sell off that we made. So with that in mind, when we eventually swept this high and we just started moving higher, right? I saw this 5 minute OT setup, and the reason why I still want to move higher was because we had these like liquidity points up in here, and we even created this relative equal high up in here. This relative equal high up in here, and that was the main reason why I still want to say, okay, I do think we were gonna move lower, but how do I think we're gonna move lower after sweeping liquidity to find more sellers and to go back lower, right? So because I didn't think we would just move lower without sweeping any major liquidity point to get the sellers in that sense. I did also know, yeah, I did know that we were like in these bearish gaps. Well, why I still took it, it was because the 10 a.m. candle closed pretty bullish. It closed above these bearish imbalances as on the 4 hour, the 8 hour, and the 1 hour, and that's why I was still leaning towards the longs to get that not manipulation, but to get that liquidity sweep and then possibly move lower. So that was the main reason. Um, and the trade I took was this body to body OTE. Why I took body to body today is because price was not moving that like great. It was not moving in big swings or moves, and why I still took, and that's why I didn't think we would get that a lot of volatility in at once to just go straight down or straight up. I think price would like be chopping a lot, which we actually did. If you look on the 1 minute, it looks pretty ugly. Like you see, we were chopping a lot, and I didn't think we would get that much volatility to go straight down to the wick. And the body to body OT did was a bit better with aligned with my gap. And yeah, that's basically the main reason why I took this trade. I did also know that the 30 minute didn't close that great, but the reason why I still took that trade was because the 1 hour it was not the same as the 1 hour close, and the 1 hour had like still possibility to close better, right? And we didn't create a doji candle What I mean by that is that this candle, if this 30 minutes was like this, I would have not taken the trade because price then just cooked. I'm not gonna take a trade within there, but it closed pretty bullish, like a bit bullish, not like pretty bullish, but a bit bullish. I did also not close below that high, but eventually the reasoning was because this 5 minute break broke the structure, and I didn't anticipate sellers to come back down unless we sweep these highs. ES didn't sweep these highs yet until didn't as well sweep those highs yet. So that was another reason to see these highs get swept. Yeah, and that's basically the reasoning behind the trade. Was this according to plan? I would say yes. Why? Is because we get this 50, we get this tap right here. This moves out, sweep this high, but like we have this high 5 minute OT set up, and yeah, unfortunately, price didn't get to my TP. And yeah, that's also a thing I learned about this trade, that in the essence, I've always been targeting 1 to 2s, right? But if I was targeting a 1 to 2 today, then it would have been TP, but I didn't. Why would I not target a 1 to 2, right, and go for a higher trade? I can already say because this I didn't have like enough risk, or like it would have been two scenarios. I would have either risked $170, which was not like I usually risk $200, right? So I would have either risked $170 or 250. I don't want to be on the higher side, so it would have been 170, but I didn't want to get a 1 to 2 because that would have been only like 340 or 350. But if I look on that perspective, and then another argue I had was, okay, I'm anticipating price to move to this high, right, to this draw on liquidity. So, right, I was placing two things. I have like a draw, and I'm not targeting 1 to 2. So, what I'm trying to say is that I basically am putting a higher target because I want more money. That sounds really greedy. I know it sounds really greedy. And the reason why what I'm trying to say is that I'm technically targeting a 1 to 2, right? What are the benefits of targeting a 1 to 2? Targeting a 1 to 2 means that I can be out of a trade before it even hits my drawn liquidity. I don't have to always be right on my bias, and my analysis doesn't always have to be right because I'm only targeting a 1 to 2. So what I'm trying to say is that the way I have been trading the couple of days is getting my bias and analysis like almost every time right. And when I target a 1 to 2 with that mindset, I'm basically not aligning the way I'm trading in a sense with my target with my RR. So what I'm trying to say is that the most of my winners are always when my draws are right, my analysis is right, and my bias is right. But I'm only still targeting 1 to 2 in those trades, and then what I'm trying to say is that if I'm targeting a 1 to 2 in that trade, it doesn't really make sense because my wins are only when my targets are right, my bias is right, and analysis is right. So it's basically, for example, if I were to say, okay, everything was right, I would have probably swept this high, right? Why would I only be targeting 1 to 2? It makes more sense than to, for example, target a 1 to 4 or 1 to 3 because I have less chances, for example, for my whole bias to be right, for my whole analysis to be right. And then if I were to like purely look at how 1 to 2s are, and then the benefit of 1 to 2 is like you don't have to have your whole analysis right, you don't have to have the drawn liquidity right. You're only targeting a 1 to 2 because you're targeting 1 to 2, so you have the benefit of getting out of your position earlier before your drawn liquidity get hit. And I've not really been using that benefit and only been using the other one where I have to be right of everything, but I'm still targeting 1 to 2. So I'm basically robbing myself as well in that way of trading. So the realization I had today is that if I'm trading 1 to 2s, I'm not using it to its potential. If I'm trading full draws and full biases, I'm not using it to its potential as well. So it's for me right now to choose: am I going to be trading 1 to 2s or I'm going to be trading to full draws? Because the way I'm trading right now is not efficient. So yeah, that's basically the lesson I learned from today. I didn't think about this like the way I am right now. And when I started thinking about this, I felt like, oh wait, this actually makes sense. Why am I not doing it like this? I should be, and why am I being greedy, right? Another thing I realized is that why am I going for more money, right? Why would I give up? Like, imagine you're already up 90% of the 100%. Why would I give up 90% just to make an extra 10%? that's what I did today. I was up like, let's just say this is the whole amount, 384, and I was already up more than 90%. Why would I have given up the 90% just for the extra 10% when it was actually a 1 to 2, right? 1 to 2 would have been a bit less. 1 to 2 would have been 350, and I would have lost on about $30. Why would I give up like 90% just for that extra $10? Because in my eyes, it's not enough. It's setting the wrong standard, and I'm thinking about the RR and where I should place my TP in the wrong way. Right now, I'm just basing it off the fact that I want more money. I want that at least $400, and that's why I think some of the losses have been occurred, and why I have been getting less wins. I would not say that's the specific reason, but that could have like add to the reason why I'm taking more losses. Actually, not losses, but less wins. So that's the thing I realized, and from now on, I'm only going to be targeting 1 to 2s because I want to take the benefit of 1 to 2s, and there's no reason for me to give up 80 to 90% of the position I'm already up for the extra 10-20%, right? That just does not make sense. So it might sound a bit vague of what I just said, but like if you really think about it and you understand what I said, then I think this could also like bring some clearance to you. I don't know what the word is called, but yeah, hope you guys also learned something from this video, because I definitely did learn something from this trade I took. In the end, yeah, unfortunate, but I did go break even. Why I went break even is because basically I could have thrown it to down here, but the reason why I went break even was because my break even was at this 50%, and eventually did create this very large fair value gap. And even if I wanted to see price move back down, it would have not been like, I don't want to see it move all the way back down here and disrespect this gap. So then even then I would probably just gonna switch bearish, and yeah, that's why I went break even. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys watched this video, it was a pretty long video, kind of yapped a bit. I kind of sounded like a bit fake maybe as well. But if you have any questions, comment down below, or yeah, like, comment, subscribe, guys, and see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, bye bye.